Before we move forward, I want to pause. Not to solve the Missy Bevers case, but to acknowledge where it leaves us. 3 full episodes, and what remains is not clarity, but boundaries. A narrow timeline, a deliberate disguise, an investigation that continues quietly, away from cameras and commentary. No arrest, no public suspect, no explanation that can be stated with confidence. Only a life interrupted and a question that refuses to close. Cases like this don't end. They change shape. They move from urgency into memory, from headlines into records, from public conversation into quiet persistence. Missy Bevers' story now lives there, in evidence files, in the work of investigators who rarely speak, and in the weight carried by those who knew her. That chapter of the Midnight Mystery Archive is complete, but the case itself is not. There is something difficult about leaving a case unresolved, but it is also honest, because unresolved is the natural state of most truth. And it's from that place that the next story begins. On the morning of January 26th, 1966, 3 children boarded a bus in Adelaide, Australia. They were heading to the beach, and they never came home. Their names were Jane Beaumont, Arna Beaumont, and Grant Beaumont. They were 9, 7, and 4 years old. And their disappearance would become one of the most enduring and unsettling mysteries in Australian history. Long before podcasts, before online archives, before true crime became a genre, the Beaumont children were already part of public memory. In Australia, their names are spoken the way some places speak of disasters, not because of spectacle, but because the disappearance changed how people understood safety. After 1966, parents walked children to bus stops. Neighborhoods locked doors. A quiet assumption that children could move freely through the world fractured. That was not just a crime, it was a cultural turning point. Most people encounter the Beaumont case backwards, through suspects, through claims, through theories. But this series will begin where the story actually began, with a summer morning, a bus ride, a beach, and a set of choices that felt ordinary until they became irreversible. There will be suspects later, there will be claims, there will be controversy, but first, there will be context. Because before this became a mystery, it was just a day. There are few cases where every decade adds both certainty and doubt. Witnesses come forward late. Confessions appear and collapse. Technology promises answers, and memory quietly reshapes itself. The Beaumont case has outlived police departments, investigative methods, and many of the people closest to the original search. What remains is a question that refuses to age. If you'd like to stream episodes, submit a case, or follow us on social media, visit midnightmysteryarchive.com. You can do all of those things right from the homepage. You can also join the growing official Midnight Mystery Archive Facebook group, where listeners can come together, discuss the cases we cover on the podcast, and others in the news. And if the show has earned your trust, please leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It is critically important to bringing new listeners to the show. The Missy Bevers series is now complete, and the questions still remain. But next, we'll travel back to Australia, to a beach in 1966, to 3 children, and to a story that has never found its ending. This is the Midnight Mystery Archive, Part 1 of the Beaumont Children, releases this coming Friday. Until next time.